Well, I think the idea came to me, you know, back uh, in the late '60s because the Chicago Symphony, Cleveland Orchestra, uh, Philadelphia Orchestra brass sections did that Gabrielli album together, and that kind of inspired me, thinking, you know, kind of an American ensemble. And then I started thinking, why not have people from various cities across, you know, the entire country. Then I thought, well, that'd be impractical. It can never be done. You know, you can't get all those people out of the orchestra at the same time and put something together, kind of an all-star thing with some soloists and, you know, famous other players too. But then I went to the 1982 World Brass Congress that they had at Indiana University, and there was a group from Scandinavian country called the Scandinavian Brass Ensemble that had members. It's about the same size as Summit Brass, but it had members from, oh gosh, a dozen different cities, you know, all playing in the big orchestras, and some soloists too that were amazing, and an amazing group, and they put on a heck of a concert. But then I found out later, talking to one of the members of the group, that it was all thrown together in about 10 days' time. They had a couple days of rehearsals, played a concert in Copenhagen, and then played one in Chicago, and then came to Indiana for the Brass Fest thing. It was unbelievable. I thought, well, you know, maybe it can be done. So I sprung the idea on some friends that were in the St. Louis Brass Quintet with me, and everyone agreed we should try to get it going. So we kind of used St. Louis Brass Quintet as a platform, expanded from that, and got the best players, you know. So, and of course the personnel has evolved some over the last now 29 years, but so if someone can't do it, we get somebody else. You know, it depends on their working schedule and so forth. But it's been really a very fun all-star group to play with, and I think has really kind of set standard, at least for this country, for large brass ensemble playing. So we've now been having our Brass Institute for, this is our 27th year having the institute itself, because it took us a couple of years to get off the ground, get it incorporated as a nonprofit, and raise the money to get started and find a place to have our first institute, which was here in Colorado, up in the Keystone Resort up in the mountains. And so we've moved the institute around the country, but now here we are back in Colorado and Denver, enjoying it very much.
Solo, it says gut gehalten. It looked to me like it should be sort of a staccato. Bum, bum, bum. Gut gehalten means well sustained in English. Why sustained? It sounds like such a peppy little solo. Why should I play sostenuto? Then I look up idle. Well, an idle is a summer reverie. And we know that Wagner wrote this piece when his wife gave birth to young Siegfried, their son, and he had written this in advance, Siegfried, as a serenade to be played under her window.
Mechanical things is keep in mind that they're designed to serve the artistic function, not the other way around. And they're not having to tell their body to tongue it with an accent. Well, I've got to build up a lot of compression behind the tongue. I got to move it back real fast. And if I want a big sound, I have to move a lot of air, and I have to open my jaw, you know, and be real opened up here, and then sustain it. I have to keep that air moving just real steady, and then to release it, you know, I have to stop moving air clean. Well, yeah, all that stuff takes place, but you know, good players, that's not what they're thinking about. That's not what they're
tongue behind your upper teeth, right? I don't have a tongue there, never. My tongue is right by here. It's the big chop sitting on there. It hits right below the upper teeth on up in the register of the teeth. Now, if I play the same range as a trumpet, but high B flat, yeah, I'm playing behind the upper teeth. Okay? But I don't get the sound. I'm trying to mean.
Keystone Brass Institute and Summit Brass, as its pinnacle, has become a mecca for brass players throughout the world. And they either come here every year to commune with each other, to feed off each other, to be inspired by each other, or they certainly aspire to. And we come here to worship the art of music, and most specifically the art of brass playing.
3, act.
For me to have the opportunity to conduct these outstanding musicians is really very unique. The players in the Summit Brass are all excellent, they're all soloists. So the challenge for me is to take these outstanding musicians who all have very fine and refined ideas about how music should be played and try to mesh them into one cohesive unit. And that's the challenge as I see it.
Well, you know, the very first record album I ever got, a trumpet record, was of Rafael Mendez. And my grandfather, who was an amateur musician, gave that to me, and of course I immediately fell in love with his playing, and so I was a kind of a Mendez fanatic, you know, all the way through high school and college, and still am. But Rafael was dedicated most of his career to playing solos with high school bands. He was just such a dedicated educator. He said he enjoyed doing that than going to Las Vegas and making big bucks to play the warm-up show for some celebrity. But he did all of that, and he did solo with major orchestras too, but his heart was really in the education. So when we left Keystone, we decided to name it after Rafael Mendez. And I got to know the Mendez family. I mean, I knew Rafael a little bit when I was younger, had one lesson with him. But the main thing was that the family became very involved with the Institute and with Summit Brass, and so they've been our biggest supporters. In fact, if it wasn't for the annual money that we get from the Mendez family, we really couldn't put this on. So they're providing pretty much full scholarships to all of the participants, and it makes it very easy for them to do and takes the pressure off of us to have to fundraise that much money. But Rafael was the ultimate educator, the ultimate artist, and still, I think, the pinnacle of perfection in brass playing.
Boy, I think there's nothing more exciting than spending a week in an educational institute trying to inspire all these young, talented, bright folks to run with their passion and really change the world through music. I totally believe you can change lives through music. I know it. I've seen it. This building that the Lamont School of Music is in on the University of Denver campus is really a special gift to musicians from across the country and a special gift to the city of Denver. The architecture is so remarkable that when you enter this building, you feel as though you need to perform up to the level of the architecture. So I'm always thankful to the University of Denver. I'm always thankful to Joe Doxey for having the vision of what we as musicians need for a performance space. And being able to teach in this building, being able to host the Rafael Mendez Institute, being able to perform with the Denver Brass and the Summit Brass in this building has had a huge impact on my performance, on the Denver Brass performance, on every musician who plays here. It's a very, very special gift to all of us.
For me, it's been a great experience because I've been surrounded by college students who are way better than me, and it's been so inspiring. I've met really amazing faculty, and I've probably learned more this week than I learned in the past year.
My favorite part about this experience has probably been the master classes every morning. It's just extremely interesting to hear each professor's take on the different playing styles and the way students play the pieces. I brought a notebook and I think I've filled up about half of it by now. I've got so much information. I'm just super excited to go and practice and try and put all this into use.
This is my second year at the Rafael Mendez Brass Institute, and I had to come back because this institute is just a great place to come and make music. All of my colleagues here and the faculty are incredibly helpful, nice, and just really fun to work with. There's concerts pretty much every night where you get to hear the faculty and other students play, and it's just a great place for brass.
It's a joy to be at Summit Brass. I was here as a student a long time ago, but I'm so fortunate to be working with fabulous musicians and sharing the great musical opportunities with them and with all the students that come here. You should come to Summit Brass. It changed my life, and now it's a wonderful part of my life. I hope you guys come.
Here at the 2014 Rafael Mendez Brass Institute, it's our wonderfully our 8th year here at this school, and it's just one of the most exciting, intensive brass weeks that a student can go through. Please check us out and come to the Institute. We'll get to hear you play and get to work with you.
All I can say is you should be here. This is the most amazing week of the entire year. If you're a brass player, there's no better place to be. You have to come. I endorse it with all my heart. Please come and be a part of this amazing institute.
And the reason why I come is because of the food. We get free meals out here. They feed us. Can you believe that? You can't go wrong, tuba players. Free food.